Hey everyone, everybody having a good day today? Well,
Yeah,
sweet, 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 sweet. Glad you guys could join us today. So, everyone, as always, super welcome to have and another Olympian AMA. And today, you guys guessed it, we're joined by the Kandyland team, which is going to be an upcoming Olympus fork on the Avalanche blockchain that's been gaining a lot of attention from our community. So, welcome, guys. We're really stoked to have you guys.
thank you. I just want to make sure that I get Nover in here. It's a Nover. He's in the group. He's in the audience.
Yeah, I have invited him up.
Oh, okay, okay.
Cool. And Nori, I'll let you dive in.
Awesome. So do we need to wait for him to pop up here before asking questions?
Yeah, probably. He should be joining. I don't know what he's doing. Let's see.
Twiddling his thumbs.
Yeah.
He's got to accept the invite.
Yeah, not a problem. We can
Yeah,
we can
yeah.
give it a few more seconds for some more folks to trickle on in.
Yeah. I think Mr. V decided to do an AMA at the exact same time with another group, so might be splitting some potential people joining, but we'll see.
Hmm.
There
was a
Sorry, go ahead.
There was just a little bit of confusion on our timing for this one. I tell you, changing the time zones back and forth is confusing.
Oh, sure, yeah. Nover said he can't accept it for some reason.
Okay, tried it again. There we go.
Oh, hi. Sorry, guys.
There we go.
Oh, no
man.
problem.
All right.
Awesome.
All right, perfect.
Well, we just have a few kind of boilerplate questions that we like to ask that we'll go over first, and then we'll take some community questions.
Yep,
Wonderful. Let's get it on the road.
Okay, so first thing is not everyone here may know a lot about your project, so could you just give us a brief description and what you feel like makes it unique?
Yeah, so Kandyland DAO is as you guys know, an Olympus fork from the back end, and it's actually going to be a bit of a Wonderland fork from the front end, but that doesn't matter too much because we're changing it a bit. But yeah, what makes it kind of unique, it's not just another just straight up copy. We want to become a spoon, just like kind of like Hector DAO, if you're familiar with that. Kind of have our own play and cool little integrations and features that we introduce in the future. But we're really focusing. We're going to focus heavy on like community like produced NFTs and NFT drops, and a lot to do with music too, because music's not really a space that's too focused on with the DAOs. And I think we could do some cool stuff branching out to music, because I have a music background, as does another founder too. So we want to kind of focus on that as well. But we have a feature that we're working on conceptualizing that we want to implement after launch sometime that will make Kandyland much more unique. But we'll announce that at a later time, the exact details of that, because it's still being conceptualized. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Starting off, there's not going to be anything super proprietary or new. We have to get our boots off the ground and get going. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's at first we're planning to just incentivize our users through a crazy APY as many other platforms, and then cut it down drastically to stabilize the runway and so forth. And as we digress with what we decide to do with the treasury, so because the main premise is that we will have plenty of funds located in this treasury, and the question is, how does the community that is with us want dedicate the funds to interesting new upcoming projects that are related to the gaming and music ecosystems.
Awesome. How long have you guys been working on this project?
So I started it back in early November, and pretty much started development around the first week of November, around there or something. And so it's been in straight development for probably a month now. And a lot of forks just pop up and that's it, and they take them like a week. But we've been really taking our time and ensuring everything is is getting done properly. It's secure. There's no bugs or glitches. We don't want to have any exploits. We're basically learning from other mistakes from other forks. We don't want to lose millions and risk people's money. So we're being as careful as possible in that regard. That's why it's taking a bit longer than most of the forks.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly. And sorry. Yeah, and another difference is that we're really prioritizing security over here. So Alexium in our case is KYC'd, and then as well, right before launch, we plan to get all the code audited, and that's what's taking us quite some time right now. So.
Well, I know I, for one, appreciate all that extra effort. There's too many projects that launch and then they have either rough launches or issues shortly after launch. And it's like, well, if you guys had just spent another couple of weeks in development.
Yeah, that's right.
How many people are on the team right now?
So we got 3 core members, which is like kind of like founding management members. And then we have 2 core developers, and then like a handful of staff members. We have some community staff who take care of language channels, because we got a lot of language channels that's active people in other countries. And then we got some like general admins that moderate the entire server, probably about 5 of them. So yeah, it's a decently sized team. It's nothing massive, but bigger than some others.
And do you have plans to bring more people on after launch?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the more we expand, the more hands we're going to need. So we definitely we bring them on as we need them, and people will gladly join, and that are qualified.
Certainly. It's more of the availability of funds in the current stage, because after the initial liquidity bootstrapping, there's more funds to play with, better talent to hire and move forward with. It's just before we got to get all of this figured out.
Awesome. So I personally love the Avalanche chain, so I don't look down on your choice at all, but any particular reasons that you picked that one, especially considering how it's become a little crowded with home forks?
Yeah, when I picked it, it wasn't crowded.
Well, there wasn't much forks period back in early November.
Exactly, and that's kind of why a lot have popped up since. But other than that, Avalanche, I just saw a lot of potential in it, and I was kind of right. It did kind of go to the moon a little bit since I chose it. But it's very secure. It's very fast. I mean, and let's be honest, Wonderland's on it, so that's a really big backing for it alone. I don't really see it going anywhere with at least a Wonderland being on it. But yeah, other than that, it's really secure, it's fast, it's cheap, and I see a lot of potential in it for the future. So
probably the price is the most important factor in this whole. You don't want to pay €100 just to stake your candy, or
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know what that feels like. I pretty much dumped out of Ethereum like a month ago. I just couldn't handle the fees anymore.
Yeah.
So I've been in the Kandyland Discord server, I think pretty much since the Discord server launched, and you've had some pretty good growth in there. But I'm curious what your marketing strategy is going to continue looking like, and how you're going to continue to grow.
Yeah,
well,
so
this one is. I'll take it away.
Oh, you can go first.
All right, perfect. Well, first we're prioritizing kind of 3 pathways. Then the first one is with influencers, just the regular Twitter, Discord, YouTube, and try to find the ones that are willing to cover us for free, the ones that we can get paid for. And then natural organic traffic, and as well as like website optimizations to drive SEO and stuff to our simply to our Kandyland, and grow from there. The specifics of which, again, depending on how much budget we have from the liquidity pool, which right now I believe is sitting around 1 second. Let me check, at 10%. So that means 100,000 on marketing. We can definitely grow our community with that amount of funds.
Yeah, that's right. I'll also chip in and say you covered pretty much all of it, but we're currently talking to a lot of Twitter influencers and actually some rappers that might be interested in this. And sometimes I like to stay away from a lot of rappers because they kind of just market any kind of crappy coin. But we're trying to be really careful with who we go with here. We're kind of vetting through the history to be sure that we don't choose somebody who's going to give us a bad look. But other than that, it's mostly influence marketing and maybe some ads, more partnerships with other servers, stuff like that.
Excellent. Again, for people who maybe don't know as much about the project, could you go over a little bit on what kind of security measures you've taken, or just things that would help people feel better about investing in your project?
Well,
Definitely.
Essentially, as an investor, what do you really care about? And it's the fact that the platform is secure as possible on the back end, and for that, we are, as I mentioned previously, planning to get the source code fully audited, and then again, that the team cannot really run away with the funds, do a rug pull or whatsoever. For that, for this sort of protection, for example, Alyxium is KYC'd. For people that don't know, that means that a third party is holding his contact, and in case anything goes wrong, his real contact goes public. So there is a person to be held accountable for all of this. It's not purely anonymous, which is a huge factor if you're an investor seeking to invest your funds into something. And then we already have figured out 5 members to multi-sign, and those are 3 founding members, as well as 2 quite important big influencers. I guess we're going to make a reveal in the upcoming days of who those individuals are. And lastly, for the last security reason, sorry, I'm lost my track, Alyxium.
You're good, man. Last one. I'll just take over a little bit here. Yeah, so we're going to be using CTDSEC for the audit. It's a full scale audit of the front end and back end of all the contracts before we even do the liquidity bootstrapping event, which is the whitelisted pre-sale event. So we're going to be ensure that everything is good, there's no issues, and if there are any issues, we're going to delay a little bit and we're going to fix them. Because it's very important that all goes very well. Yes, and I'm also KYC'd by Assure DeFi. If you don't know who Assure DeFi is, they're very well known in the space, and they basically take my personal documents and information, and they got a picture of me and everything. And in the case that I was to do something naughty, they would release it to the public or send it to law enforcement. So, not that I obviously have any plans of doing anything like that. I would never want to, but I just did that to kind of show that I'm serious. I also had to pay a few grand for that, so that wasn't cheap. It was the first thing I did, by the way. And other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it as far as security goes. Just an audit and a multi-sig too, like you said. So
awesome. I haven't checked on the whitelist status yet. Do you guys have any whitelist spots available still?
Yeah, we do. We got about like 35 left or something like that. We're gonna have a total of 600, and we're expecting that not all of those show. We're expecting maybe 350 or 400 of them show. So that's why we kind of overcompensated with such a big whitelist.
Then it's also kind of it's also kind of important to know that we will be performing ping tests as the date gets closer and closer to see the activity and how active the whitelisted members are, who will end up providing us their wallet addresses. And it depends. We might reshuffle some members, add additional ones to increase engagement.
Yeah, I recall it. You guys did that already, right? And was able to shake out like 100 addresses, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty smart. Yeah, that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
How are the rest of the whitelist going to be distributed?
So I had announced it a day or two ago, but for the last 25 for the public, because the other ones are secured for like private. But for this, for the last 25, I'm going to be not randomly, but manually choosing people that are active and contributing that haven't been whitelisted yet that I believe deserve it. In the server over the next 4 days leading up to the date of the pre-sale. So I'm just kind of moderating and being active like usual in the server and choosing people that I believe deserve it.
Awesome. Well, that's pretty much most of my questions. Bruce, do you have any?
Yeah, I've just got a couple, and then I think we'll open it up to the broader audience. So you guys mentioned Hector Dow earlier in the discussion, and I believe if not, I think they were the first to bring 4.4 bonding to the forefront. So are there any
Yep.
plans for implementation of 4.4 bonding at launch with you guys, or what does your roadmap look like?
Yeah, we actually do have plans. We actually announced that in our most recent update on Medium, on our Medium articles. We do plan on actually implementing 4.4 because I think it's pretty cool. And along with another new feature that we'd be introducing to the market if no one else comes up with it before we do or before we announce it. But yeah, so we do like that feature a lot. I think it's really cool. Hector Dow is one of my favorite forks out there, spoons as they like to be called.
Nice.
Yeah, but it does not. At launch, we're planning to just have a standard fork, and then as we are growing our treasury, we will plan to migrate to as we're implementing these new features. So at launch, you will not. We will not be implementing 4.4,
No,
but
that
soon after.
Yeah.
makes total sense. Yeah, you don't want
Yeah.
to, throw too much out there. You want to kind of grow into the project. So it totally
Exactly.
makes sense.
Exactly.
So I
Right.
do want to touch base quickly on. So I know you guys, you were just talking about the KYC process with a Surefy. I've noticed that you have your KYC NFT up on OpenSea, which is kind of genius. But what I want to know is this an indication that you're going to have future NFTs added to your project? I don't know, maybe some music NFTs in the future.
Yeah, so, it's funny. It's actually we didn't do that. They do that for every single NFT. Or sorry, for every single NFT they mint for every KYC they do. But yeah, we do have plans. We definitely have plans of selling like we actually have some being designed right now, but like NFT drops exclusive to certain points that will never be released again. And music as well. Music is included. Like I was mentioning before, music is definitely something that we want to implement. So,
As a huge music fan, I'm actually very, very interested to see what you guys pull off with the music. So that'll
yeah,
be. I'm keeping a close eye on that.
cool, man. Yeah.
Well, awesome. So I guess let's open it up to the audience. So if anybody wants to come up on the stage, raise your hand. We'll get you pulled up on the stage. And then also we've got some questions in the Kandy AMA questions Discord, where we can also, you guys can kind of scroll through those and see if there's anything of your liking. But it looks like Everybody Loves Ramen is up. So let's pull him in.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yep.
Hey, yeah, I'm really, really excited about this project. I was actually thinking, is it possible that we can get like a playable online game where we have like NFTs that we buy as our characters, and then we can advance like, and then stake like the NFT in like the gumdrop forest, and then like, like do something that's like an adventure with our personal profile character while still adding liquidity to the treasury and like playing along the way. Okay, that's my question.
Yeah, man. So what's pretty funny is we haven't announced anything yet, but a game similar to kind of like that it has been in my thoughts for the last couple weeks. I have a history. I don't know if anybody knows. I don't really make it public, but I am actually currently having a game unrelated to crypto being developed by a team that I hired. And actually, my profile picture is a picture of the main character because I really love game design almost more than playing games at this point. So I think we're definitely going to have a game kind of like that. In that sense, it's a really big endeavor to take on, and it's not something that's going to be anytime soon. But definitely something like that is something I want to see happen. I think that'd be really, really cool because it's just the interactive like community aspect would be really unique. And I know that Wonderland's also developing a game. I don't know what they're doing, but hopefully we do something like that, though. That's definitely something that we want to do. So I appreciate the suggestion.
Yeah, and it comes back down to how do we distribute the treasury funds. If you want this game to be made, you are always welcome to make a proposal and see what everyone votes on. It's a DAO, so.
Yeah, once it's alive, that's right.
So I wonder.
Yeah.
Can I go now? Yeah. So I want to ask, what's the innovation in this? You think, you personally think, or is going to be like you are going for a cross chain something or gamify project in the
I think
future prospect? Yeah.
sorry. So did it cut you off? Okay. So I think you said for implementing cross chain. Yeah, we have plans for bridging and cross chain, uh, stuff like that. But it's not going to be anytime soon. I have it on the roadmap actually. I think I have it in stage 3 or 4. It could be sooner, like it could be around stage 3, but it's a big endeavor, and like I said, we have to allocate a lot of funds to that to develop that, get that developed. That's not simply just something you fork. It's a pretty
Yeah,
big development project. So we definitely will. We do have plans. We do have plans for it. If you look at the roadmap, a lot of this is already planned out. It's not detailed yet, but it's planned. We have ideas. Which is right now we're really heavily focusing on the current term of getting this out there and distributing the funds properly and allocating them to where we need, like liquidity and the treasury balance to get this thing kickstarted. Um, but yeah,
exactly,
definitely.
because that's the most important aspect right now. As the launch date approaches, we got to ensure that the liquidity bootstrapping event goes as smooth as possible, and then the launch goes as smooth as possible. Because what do you expect after a whitelisted event is that everyone that managed to get in at an like a low price of $5 and compared to 7.5 dump their coins and leave. Obviously, some people will understand that they can benefit more just simply by staking and earning, that crazy APY. But we certainly expect the early comers to sell a lot of the coins, and our mission is to be able to kind of find a way to mitigate it. And our latest Medium article details the fact that we would allocate, I think, 20%. I would have to double check the numbers. 20% of the funds from the initial liquidity bootstrapping event to strategic buybacks from the beginning to mitigate that initial sales pressure, because we expect, the pump and dump and everything in those regards. So to
Yeah,
focus on the
that is
short
a
term.
nice strategy for buyback for the initial dump. And just a fun question I want to ask: why do you choose the name Candyland? Any
Yeah.
personal? Yeah.
Yeah, so I just chose it, to be honest, because I thought it was a cool name. First thing I thought of, I mentioned this in the other, yeah. I looked it up because I always do this when I come up with names. I'm a pretty creative person, I think, because I produce music. But I looked it up to make sure no one else had it, and the only thing that existed was Candy Swap. So I was like, okay, this is something that's super brandable, it's untouched. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. It's kind of simple as that. The first idea I had.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, buddy, no problem.
Does anyone else want to come up and ask a question?
We won't bite that hard, don't worry.
Yeah. Well, we have a bunch of text questions. If you just want to just kind of scroll through there and pick out any that you think are interesting and go ahead and answer them.
All right, let's see. No, Nova, if you see anything,
Yeah, of course, I'm looking right now.
Yeah.
Well, the first question that stands out to me is, why do you think there are not more protocols targeting the music sector? How are you planning on approaching that market with this DAO? Well, I think blockchain music is still kind of very in its early stages, and so by being one of the first DAOs to target it, we can not only promote that sector, but as well be the first ones to actually innovate it. So I think that's why, and that's again done through music NFTs and everything in that aspect.
Yeah, so Just Me asked, it's just my knowledge that part of the team comes from a musical background. Do you have any experience in financial area? If not, how do you compensate for that point? So I personally have experience in a lot of fields. I mean, I'm used to crypto investing. I've been doing it for like 8 years now. I'm nothing insane, but I understand how it works. I know how to handle money pretty decently. And then I also have a real estate background, and that deals with lots of finances. It's not necessarily banking or anything, but I've closed probably 10, 12 real estate deals at this point. So I understand how all that works. It's not I'm not like completely new to the field of money, but definitely I am new to being on the back end of development. So I've learned a lot, and I've surrounded myself with really good teammates, and it's been great so far. So hopefully that answers your
Yeah.
question, Justin.
In terms of me, I have a background in economics and management, as well as quite a few years in e-commerce, so I understand how this quite works. And in terms of crypto, in DeFi a couple of months, and crypto for a while already. And another question by Aldo Rain, again relating to marketing. He's asking if you really understand the need of marketing in non-shilly way. What's Candy mid and long-term marketing plan look like? What we are going to say is that we will be releasing like a more detailed marketing strategy plan on our upcoming Medium articles. It isn't like it's quite a complicated question to answer on an AMA.
Yeah. There's a lot that goes into it. To answer eBum's question, will the contracts be deployed on a testnet to ensure viability prior to pre-sale? Yes, it's already been done. It's being done right now. We're testing stuff right now. Last minute tests, fixing last minute bugs we're finding. Definitely. And then we'll deploy it and announce the announcement date where it's going to go live. So definitely on the testnet for sure.
We're just ensuring that the LBE contract and front end is as friendly and like functional as possible, because that's quite important right now. And then we will be like, which relates to another question which Krampus asked in chat: what are the team's short-term goals, i.e. 1 month after launch? Also, launch not included, we will proceed to rebrand Kandyland as a whole, then rebuild the entire website. We have a wonderful designer. I'm pretty sure he's still in the chat. It's Ashwin. Shout out to Ashwin. And we have it all designed, rebrand that, and continue just growing our community through an intricate and marketing strategy. And obviously adjust for the initial pressure.
Yeah, and then Ron, I think is how you pronounce his name, asked, will it cooperate with other DAOs in the future? Will we cooperate with other DAOs? Yeah, I don't know. I've not actually seen this happen yet. I feel like it's more of a competitive market. I guess you could make it work if two DAOs work together, but if you guys are sharing, I don't know, it depends. I guess it is best to diversify as an investor, but people don't like to usually do that when they see like, they want to get all the benefits from one spot. It's a bit more convenient, but we'll see what we can do. We'll think of that in the future. There's a lot we could do potentially with other DAOs. I mean, we're going to be using other like DAOs, stable coins and stuff like that. But other than that, we don't have any plans right now.
Am I live here?
Yep, you're live. Go ahead.
All right, wonderful. Thank you guys, for taking your time to do this AMA. Definitely very intrigued in regards to the protocol, Kandyland. I do have one question in regards to, I know that you guys have the multi-sig. One thing that I and my friends here that are tuning in to this AMA, we're wondering exactly, what kind of proof or what exactly can you guys provide that will instill, I guess, trust or, so to speak, how do we know that you wouldn't rug us? You guys wouldn't rug us, essentially.
Well, I don't know if you were here for the first part, but we were talking about how I'm KYC'd by Assured DeFi, which is a pretty big deal. I don't know if, so that alone is a pretty big indicator that I don't have any plans to rug. But other than that, we are going to be doing the multi-sig, and I don't know all the technical backgrounds exactly how that works, because I've not ever done a multi-sig before. But maybe Novari knows a little bit more. But
yeah, it's like a simple implementation on the contract, and again, we're planning to have it implemented before launch to ensure that if we want to rug, it would have to be as a whole team, and essentially if we choose to rug, Elixium gets punished. If we want to throw him under the bus for that, well, I don't know. I don't think that's the team's purpose. We're all kind of friends here, so
that makes perfect sense. Thank you guys, definitely appreciate it. And if you guys can in the future, and as you guys keep going, I would definitely like to get a little more information on how it could be part of the whitelist and what are the requirements on my behalf and how I could contribute.
Yeah, so you know what I'll do is I'll probably give away like 5 whitelist spots to people who ask questions and the best questions we like, including people in the voice chat. So we'll see. But other than that, you could be active and contributing part in the Kandyland Discord server, and that's the last chance to actually earn it. There's 25 spots left, so.
Wonderful. Thank you guys so much again for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you
Yeah,
for the
man.
question. Another question to cover was from Olivia. From your docs, I can see that you're focusing on empowering the gaming/metaverse and the music industry within the crypto world. Are you going to design your own game or incubate others' projects? Furthermore, what is your plan to distinguish yourself from the other forks? And for the music, how are you going to empower it? Since not many artists have pushed their products into the crypto world. Well, we have talked about most of this initially. We are planning, like in the distant future, using our treasury funds to even make our own game, but incubate others' projects. For example, what you guys may not have heard is that Wonderland is potentially switching to a new revenue model. They're planning to stop the staking protocol entirely and just get initial funds from how their treasury distributes its assets, and that will be given to the holders of Wonderland. And that might be an interesting thing to consider for our project as well in the future. So what is our plan to distinguish yourself from other forks? Well, one thing that we kind of have not highlighted enough is the fact that, well, not even many forks get KYC'd and audited at all, and that's strong enough to make us a unique fork. But at the same time, we're planning to implement many innovative features like the 4/4, as Hector DAO did before. Then we're planning to also look at the locking mechanism, and what locking essentially would do is incentivize users to stake for longer periods by multiplying their staking rewards the longer they stake. It was one proposition that was already made on Olympus. I don't know why they didn't accept it. I guess not enough votes or discussion went the other way, but it's something definitely interesting to look at.
We got Riven here up on stage. If you want to unmute your mic and ask your question.
You suppressed or muted?
He is muted on his side, not on mine.
Oh, okay.
We'll give you a few seconds to unmute that.
When he's figuring that out, I'll just answer ArcSun's question. Are there any plans to buy candy stores in the future, start a sweet empire? You know what? That's the ultimate goal. I want to have world domination. Candy stores everywhere. And you have to use candy to purchase it. So we were actually thinking about starting a theme park too. A few $1 billion, but we'll make it happen.
Good goals. I'm going to get Aki in here.
Yeah,
are you here, Aki?
Hi. Morning from here. Anyway, just wondering what could be the APY like that is something that everyone has in mind, and how do you ensure the sustainability in the future, whatever API they will start with?
Well, the point is for us not to have a sustainable APY in the beginning, at least. We're planning to start off at around, some ridiculous number, like many other forks, millions, but then rapidly decrease as more people are coming in to have something similar to right now what Hector has. I think it's 200,000, what Wonderland 80,000, and that will depend on our marketing success and our the belief of our community behind the platform. So the longer the more kind of revenue we generate from bonds, the longer we can sustain this high APY.
Yeah, right. It's all about finding a good balance too, because we don't want to have a too high APY. We want to have a good backing as well. We want to give good rewards at the same time. So like Wonderland found a really good balance, and they sustained a pretty high APY compared to Olympus. So we want to kind of do something similar. I think Hector's doing it even better now. 200K is pretty crazy. You don't see that anywhere. So we want to try to have something around that area as well.
Can we expect the APY to be sustainable? In the future, like 1 year plus, to be in 5 figures?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
nobody
that's
knows that, right?
potentially.
No-
Yeah, exactly.
Potentially,
One
nobody
example
knows.
to look for is the fact that Olympus started with a crazy APY and ended up going down to 8,000, which is still a ridiculous number if you think about it.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, we'll
Thank
do our
you.
best
Thank
to
you,
get it.
guys.
Yeah, for sure.
thank
We'll
you
do our
for the
best to get it as
question.
high as possible, but sustainable as possible. So we'll see what happens.
Right. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, buddy.
Are you there now, Riven? You're still showing as muted on my side.
I saw him
Yep.
try to mute himself and unmute himself. He's trying to figure it out. Do you have push to talk required on this or not? Because maybe he has to enable push to talk.
We do not have push to talk required.
Well, another question that's interesting, actually, it's by PEV. The minimum investment is 1K USD, right? A lot of people are from countries where 1K USD may be a decent amount of money. Are you not concerned this could price out a lot of them and it may look like you're being too greedy, especially in the market conditions we're in? I genuinely don't think so. First, we're essentially offering a 50% return on your investment, if you think about it, because we're pricing our tokens in the whitelist for 5 and then during the public launch selling them at 7.5 starting. And the people that choose to be whitelisted are the ones that can afford it. So.
Yeah, I'll also say I don't want to get to my personal finances too much here, but I invested like pretty much all my personal finances into this because I really believe in this protocol and I'm excited about it. And so I'd be basically making back what I put in from the whitelist. It'd be pretty much clear and a little bit on top for all the effort I put in for the last month. So I don't really think we're being too greedy. I think it's pretty fair, and we're also going to be holding pretty much all of our tokens that we get initially. Staking there or bonding them. So yeah, I think it's pretty fair overall.
Yeah, if you want to kind of, again, find out more information about the liquidity and the tokenomics of the project, we have a really detailed Medium articles talking about it. Read it and you'll get all your answers there.
Yeah, and I want to answer Cita G's question. He asked that initially we weren't planning on having a multi-sig before the pre-sale. The reason why is it's a bit hard to implement all that when the funds are coming in and we're allocating it all, but we decided to do that anyways, just to kind of raise more trust because it is important that we have that. We were going to do it initially the second the DApp goes live, but we'll definitely going to have it during the pre-sale as well. It's just it's a lot to organize, and there's a lot going on in the back end. It's very overwhelming, so we're trying to get it all organized. But yes, we are planning on initially implementing the multi-sig as soon as we can. So
yeah. Crypto Egg Roll asks, at what point will you give investors more voting power over DAO decisions? Naturally, when the DAO gets launched. Well, right now, no one can really vote. They don't have the tokens to vote with. So, what is the best way to launch during shitty market conditions? I guess it depends on the strategy you choose.
It's funny, actually. It's actually kind of good to launch at a low, at a low in the market because when everything goes up, we all go up. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, though. It could go down more, but other than that, I think it'll be okay for the most part. Kayukan, sorry if I mispronounced your name, but said who is going to be on the multi-sig. It's going to be 3 of the founders, and then it's going to be one YouTuber who has a pretty decent growing community, 6K plus subs, and I think we're going to get Mr. V from the Wolfpack on from the Alt Street. So Wolves of Alt Street, he's the founder of that. So he's going to be on the multi-sig as well. And we're going to try to get towards 5 out of 7 even, but we're going to start with 3 out of 5 just to start. But yep, that's where we're at right now.
The video asks, how do you plan on creating longevity and surviving a fairly competitive market now with a number of DAOs on multiple networks, as well as competing with time in the Avex chain? Well, that's an interesting question because what's the number one kind of reason people invest into a project? And it's the value that it can provide to the investors. Well, in my head, there's kind of 2 types of investors: the ones that are looking for short-term gains, which they can enjoy if they manage to time the market and bond appropriately; the ones that believe in the project as well; the ones that actually stake and earn more rewards based on the staking mechanism. Well, as an investor, you look to always have a great return on your money. And well, naturally, if you're getting a 20% ROI per week, that's quite a valuable project. There's many DAOs, and again, as we talked before, we're planning to innovate quite consistently. We're one of the first DAOs that are being fully audited prior to launch, and we're planning to have another audit later on with one of the bigger companies. And yeah, we're distinguished by the fact that we're also trying to focus our treasury funds and make the proposals that will target both the bootstrapping of new projects in the gaming and music industry and the creation of music of these projects in such industries. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I'll answer this question too by Spartans really quick here. When will the audit be released, since the IDO is around 16th? So the auditor I talked to, CTDSEC, said that it's going to be about 2 to 3 days for the audit to take place. We're probably, it's probably not going to be the 16th. We're probably pushed back a day or two. It's probably going to be 17th or 18th at this point, because we had an unforeseen delay eternally with development. Some issues going on there, but it's okay. We're figuring it out, fixing it. Yeah, so it's going to be released as soon as possible. They said they could do it quickly and thoroughly and release a document as well. They got a team behind that. So yeah, we're looking at sometime before the LBE, liquidity bootstrapping event.
Yeah. Will we be able to wrap the stake tokens for tax purposes? We will have that feature implemented. Like, that will be one of the first features to implement. We understand the importance of having a token increase in price rather than in amount for tax purposes, as you said. So yes, that will be implemented shortly.
I don't know how much time
I had
we
a
have
question.
Yeah.
I think we could probably do another 10 minutes. I got a question on your bonding strategy, though. I feel like the bonding aspect can be rather contentious depending on who you talk to. And I think many of these folks that launch don't necessarily have a very good understanding of how that works and how to properly balance bonding versus treasury growth versus APY, which is obviously diluting the backing per token. So what are your thoughts on where you're aiming to put that bonding discount, and where is it going to be long term?
Okay, that's a very good question, and one that needs quite in-depth answer as well. Well, we are planning to offer, I believe, 4 bonds, and it's the liquidity pool tokens for MIM/Candy, then MIM/AVAX, then simply MIM as a stable coin to ensure that the backing gets the proper backing of at least 1 MIM per Candy, and prioritize particularly the MIM, the simple stable MIM, as well as the liquidity pool tokens to provide the initial liquidity. We're planning not to have such great discounts. It will, again, as the same with APY, be adjusted based on the market actions and stuff like that. But we're planning to give these the highest priority, and and through that.
Yeah, hopefully that answers that question. I wanted to get to Sam Stack's question. Basically, I'll just summarize it. It's a little bit of a long question, but can you please talk us through the process of being KYC and audited, so that investors are more secure? Yeah, so basically, it's pretty much what I had to do was I had to submit my personal information, my address, my driver's license, picture of me with the driver's license, and I think that's about it. They reviewed it for a day or two, and they basically minted the NFT and gave me all the stuff to prove that I was KYC'd by them. So that was the process for that. For the audit, basically, third-party developers that understand Solidity very well in Web3 and programming, they look over all the code in the back end for the contracts, make sure there's no functions that lets us do something cheeky and screw over investors, and also make sure that it's secure code. There's no exploitable parts of code, and that it all is supposed to function as it's supposed to function. So, and then they release a document basically explaining everything and what should be fixed. If anything's on high alert, that should be fixed instantly, or low threat, stuff like that. So it's pretty simple, and you'll be able to understand the document when it's released.
Yeah, and going back to Bruce's question as well, at first we're planning to prioritize treasury growth versus sustainability. That's definitely for certain, because a lot of this is based on marketing and how well you can portray your DAO versus other DAOs. And so if you offer high discounts both for those short-term investors I was talking about that can earn a good return on their bonds, and the crazy APY that will initially I wouldn't say guarantee, but at least incentivize the investors to actually bring their money into the platform, which would further benefit the treasury, increase APY, and to go in this feedback loop that everyone loves in this.
Yeah, it's like a very complex thing, though. I'm.
Oh, sorry, it was your question.
Yeah, it's complex, though. I mean, you look at even and Wonderland and how they do it, and I think even sometimes they struggle with setting everything just right.
It's a tough aspect that will definitely need to be researched, but it's also not as important in the beginning because you can just toss in high discounts and high APY and buy kind of have enough time to understand how the market operates initially and to adjust accordingly. Because, for example, what Ohm is doing is that they're cutting the reward rate based on the supply of total Ohm, and as the Ohm increase, they are reducing their reward rates proportionally as well to increase the sustainability and to increase the runway and not let the inflation impact as hard as it would otherwise.
I want to touch on Ribbon's question quick because he asked it in text since he was muted before. So he mentions that he came to our Discord and was fighting a little bit over a video that we had made. So there's this YouTuber that reached out to us, and I just briefly looked at his channel, saw he had 100K. He was focused on crypto, and he asked, "Hey, if I'll make a video for you if you give me some candy." And I was like, "Sure, okay." I didn't really think much of it because we needed all the marketing we could get, especially on YouTube. So I threw him the candy, and he made the video. But then I announced it. Yeah, maybe I should have looked into his statistics a little bit more, but I wasn't really thinking at that point. I have a lot going on in the back end and stuff. So maybe that was a bad play, Riven, but that was just kind of the move there because we didn't have any presence on YouTube, but I wanted to get some presence. It wasn't nothing scummy going on in the back end. I can assure you of that. It was all
in this particular. In this particular video, as well as a person that is getting paid, we expected him to actually announce that he's received funds for for promoting our DAO, but he didn't, and that's on us that we didn't control it. And again, who controls these investments? At first, it's we are controlling them, but as as our team is going to be growing significantly, we will definitely be hiring better marketing experts to find and target the specific individuals. But also it's important to understand that while this guy had 100 to 1,000 subscribers while averaging 2,000 views, which is obviously quite odd, the fact that he's in DeFi made him a valuable asset nonetheless. The people that are watching him are ones interested in DAO forks, and that's what we were looking for. So he didn't really say anything bad. So
I was going to also say we are going to be becoming a full DAO as soon as we can, but we just have to get bootstrapped and get our literally get our boots off the ground. So that's why right now we're all in control. It's mostly me. He's going to be in control of the funds. Actually, I'll be in complete control of the funds, and I'm just getting advised by different people on how I should be allocating them. So.
Yeah, and again, for that reason, why Elixium is controlling all the funds initially is because he is KYC'd. So if person held responsible. Then we have Stanov LLI Lee. My question would be, where do you see where do you see potential risks launching your project, and how you are addressing them upfront? Again, the main risks come down with coding and securities and development, and we're planning to get everything audited. We're KYC'd, and that's the most important part, to ensure that the code and the contracts work flawlessly, that we are able to manage that as efficiently as possible and manage to deposit the initial funds, mint the initial funds, provide the initial liquidity, and so forth. And that will be, that is why it's taking us, again, slightly longer. There's some development issues that we're facing right now. And, but again, we're expected to be on time, maybe a couple days later, but we're just trying to make sure everything is smooth.
Have you guys considered using, portions of the treasury for other investments besides just, sitting in stable coins? Or even if you do stable coins, have you considered doing some sort of farming with those stable coins?
Could you repeat that question? I was reading the answer.
Well, I'm curious if you guys have considered doing any sort of investing with parts of the treasury, or if you're holding stable coins, which I'm assuming you would, if you'd be looking at doing some sort of stable coin farming.
Yes, of course, and that would also be more on the control of the DAO and on the control of the community. We need, just for people to understand, we need kind of enough coins to back every single candy, enough stables to back every single candy with one MIM, and the rest is profit for the treasury distributed between the stakers and the DAO itself. So how do we distribute kind of the entire treasury would be up to the people to decide. So.
And how do you envision people, making these proposals? I mean, if you let someone with 0.1 candy make proposals all the way up to someone with thousands, how do you really decide which ones are worth even considering?
Well, then these ones will be moderated and then decided which ones are kind of allowed, which in one hand defeats slightly the purpose of decentralized organizations, but it will have to be kind of decided by the founders, by the team of the DAO itself, which proposals to accept, or we will set a minimum limit of candy with which you will be able to create a proposal.
Yeah,
I think.
It's gonna be. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that I haven't done this research in particular, but if I'm not mistaken, people of DAOs are able to create proposals, like regardless of how much they own. I would have to, double check that.
It's on you use Snapshot, and I already registered an ETH address. So basically, we could probably just make a limit, or not a limit, but probably a requirement. And also, I mean, a lot of these DAOs get just troll like proposals, and the moderation has to do something about it. So because obviously you can't be 100% ran on anything that people suggest. So, but for the most part, it's going to be serious proposals.
And in terms of stables, we're definitely planning to look at platforms like Convex and similar. There's on Phantom Chain right now. Again, once we'll be implementing the cross-chain functionalities, how to allocate those funds in a way that will bring our investors the most value. Another thing to look at is, again, with some questions, operating with other DAOs, even if it's not directly, just by simply purchasing their staked or their wrapped stake tokens. That would make us accumulate more while simultaneously benefiting their DAO. And this kind of mutual relationship would be very powerful if it works out.
Awesome. Thanks for that answer. And we just why don't you guys just take one or two more questions, and then we'll wrap it up here.
Okay, amazing.
I'm going to take I can't say his name. Lunamari QI. I don't know. Don't you feel like you're raising a bit too much at the moment? 2K per whitelist max. Well, it's 1K minimum, 2K. It's funny, man. You know how it is. No matter what you do, there's always going to be somebody who doesn't like it. So at first we were going to do like $250 minimum and like 1,000 max. People were complaining about that, saying it's too low. And then we had people, then when we raised it, people were saying it's too high. So I think it makes more sense to go a little bit higher, because when we get serious people in who are actually going to be sticking with us for a bit longer. Than having a bunch of people investing like $250 to $500. I think it makes more sense to have 400, 500 bigger players. And this is just initially, by the way. I mean, anybody instantly 24 to 48 hours after the whitelisted sale, it's going to start at $7.50. So you're still going to get a good deal, and you can put in as much as you want. We just want to be sure we hit the goal so that the project is successful initially, at least. Or in the long term. I mean, you have to have a good amount of liquidity for it to kick off, for the DApp to even work. So,
and what will you do to keep the price action going at launch and its marketing? And once people see this, new fork coming up, there's definitely going to be more coverage, incentivizing more investors, blah blah blah, increasing the price, increasing the revenue for the treasury, and so forth. Like,
Yeah, it's a snowball effect. It's how it works.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it goes the other way as well. So we just have to make sure that the marketing is straight and that the platform works as smooth as butter. So we hope that answered that. And now
devs can't directly control the price either. So I mean,
exactly.
you can only do as good as you can do, and stay engaged with the community and put out new features. So
that's
exactly.
Right.
There is not much we can do other than, well, we set the reward rate and we set the bond control variable, as well as the kind of composition of how much goes to the stakers versus the DAO. Initially, we're planning, like most other DAOs, to have 90% going to the stakers and 10% going to the DAO, while the bond control variables will have to be adjusted. And that's what Nori was asking beforehand as well. We expect to have a high APY in the beginning to incentivize that initial marketing, to initial kind of snowball effect before stabilizing at a certain price. But as time goes on, it will be it will be also good to see, optimize those decisions based on where we are right now. We're speculating as to what will happen. And once the launch happens, it happens. We don't have much control over it. All we can ensure is as well that, as I spoke before, that 20% of the funds will be allocated to buybacks from the people that end up being like, okay, we will dump our whitelisted funds, which is entirely understandable as well. You want to take your profits and go somewhere else. And but the point is that we can stabilize the price using those strategic buybacks and burning that initial supply of coins. So this will be the main strategy. And then I hope that answers it.
Awesome. Well, I think that wraps it up. We're at almost about an hour here, so thank you
we
guys.
Can take the last one.
Okay.
As the last question, do you plan to implement some sort of anti-bot feature for launch? No, we have not considered it. I don't think we will implement one.
Yeah, that's almost impossible to do because we're using Trader Joe and we have no control over, no, because they're the ones that are allowing everyone to swap for candy. So there's not much we
potentially
can do.
vest the whitelisted funds or something, but I don't think it's worth the time or the effort. We should just let it go and let it stabilize with kind of as the time goes on.
Yeah. I mean, for the
launches are going to be crazy no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, for the whitelist, we're doing all we can to mitigate bots. There's not going to be any kind of public funding at all. It's all whitelisted, and the limit is 2K. So even if a bot was to get in, so what? They get 2K. Like, that's the point of limiting it. So
that's the point of the whitelist. Okay, good. You can sell the 2K. That doesn't separate you from any other whitelisted person.
Yeah, right.
But okay. So
what's your plan for the liquidity pool size at the beginning? I mean, obviously, it's probably depends on how big or how well the whitelist sale or the liquidity bootstrapping event goes.
The initial point, I'll tell you in actually just a second. I have the sheet pulled up somewhere here. I don't know where it disappeared. Okay, 1 second. The initial liquidity mint, we're planning to dedicate. We're planning to dedicate 93,750 MIM and deposit 12,500 candy to set the initial price at 7.5. I don't think it needs to be that great because people will end up buying and minting and bonding, increasing our liquidity anyways. So it's just the initial to enable trading, to have something to work with.
Okay, awesome.
Yep.
Anything else to add? Otherwise, we can wrap her up.
I just want to say thank you to everybody for joining in.
Thank you.
70 people peak, so that's pretty cool. I appreciate you guys asking your questions, and it means a lot for your support. Means a lot because I couldn't imagine being in this position a month ago. It's actually crazy to see. So I appreciate all you guys' support.
No, we appreciate.
Thank you very much for
taking time out of your day to come meet with us. That was great. So I appreciate you guys.
Of course.
Yeah, it was an amazing session. I hope we managed to answer some questions. We're always accepting suggestions. We're always welcoming any communication with the community. If you want, DM me, DM Alexium. Just for the next upcoming days, we're slightly busy with making sure this launch goes as smooth as possible. That's why we're also not as active on our own Discord, because we have a lot to cover. So thank you guys very much for listening. Thank you, Bruce and Nori, for having us, and it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. And I believe you were going to do some sort of giveaway. I'll leave that kind of up to you to pick the winners in there.
I've
I'll
got all
probably
the names captured, so I can help out with that.
Well, that'd be
Awesome.
great. I guess maybe DM me then or something, or DM me.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that sounds great. Well, thank you very much, guys.
Thank
Thanks,
you very
guys.
much.
Cool. Thank you guys.